Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Three Pointer Podcast. I'm Brent Clemmer, and with me today, as always, Justin and Brendan Beck. Joining us in just a split second is Luke Erickson. Luke, buddy, what's going on?
What's happening?
Oh, sorry to any of the viewers that may have saw Luke just hanging out in the forescreen there while we were waiting. Start that countdown.
Beautiful picture to start.
That was jokes. That was absolute jokes. Man.
Just turn the camera off from now on.
Beck, what's up, bud?
Oh man, just wrapping up a long day with a podcast with my boys talking about basketball. What could be better?
I feel like Beck says the same thing every week.
Every single time.
I'll be honest, I say the exact same thing every time too. So.
Same shit. No, Beck, I woke up this morning and chose violence. I'm going after you today, bud.
Nah, literally.
I kind of started that whole thing when we
saw
your beautiful camera.
I'm going after Beck today, ladies and gentlemen.
Luke.
As always, we appreciate Justin. He's missing a date to be out here with the boys. We won't give any more details.
Apologize to them.
May or may not be a daughter of a sister that we remember top.
I'm logging off. I'm logging off. If anything more is talked about.
Yeah, we're not putting Justin under the bus.
I'm not. I'm just saying that's all I'm gonna say. But
Justin
I really don't want to hear the blasphemy that comes out of any one of your mouths.
Look at that big words.
Justin is committed to the podcast. Justin is committed.
The fucking big words for that.
He chose the pod. He chose the podcast over women.
Okay?
He's committed.
Duke him with the brains.
Yeah,
he's committed.
Anywho, we were shooting the shit like always, like right before the podcast, just
for like an hour.
For literally an hour,
for a good amount of time, and then the consensus was, hey, we're not going to talk about each other's personal lives like on camera.
But somehow we ended up doing that. Oh my god, dude! Congrats! Thanks, dude. Thanks, much appreciated.
That comes out of his mouth, eh?
Eric, what's up, Eric?
Yep.
I thought he was saying like congrats to brother Justin.
I thought that's what he was saying. Brother Justin.
Congrats to your brother Justin.
No, thank you, Jesse. Yeah. Thank you, Jesse.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Justin, do you wanna inform the viewers?
Yeah. My brother went 9th round, 162nd overall to the Guelph Storm OHL draft.
Fuck yeah!
Really proud of him. Left
9th round out of
really proud of him.
No, he was a sleeper. He was a sleeper.
Very big sleeper.
He was a sleeper.
He's playing with Cameron Allen, 3rd overall.
Yeah.
So,
but congrats, Gus. We're proud of you, bud.
Really proud.
And also, of course, congrats to the other local guy, Miedema.
Yeah, I think we talked about that on the last episode.
We talked about the both.
Yeah. And congrats to all the kids that went off of Quinny QRD, Jack Dever, Ethan Miedema, Ethan Quick, Cal Ewens, Ethan Beatty, and what's his name?
We realized that like 90% of you don't have anything to know what we're saying, but like it's a big
Duncan Schneider. And congrats to Duncan Schneider.
Down up here, it's a big deal.
Love you, boys.
These kids just got drafted to like right under the NHL. So like this is NCAA to them pretty much. So
congrats to you boys.
On a more serious note, we love to like support our where we're from, like our hometown. We're all proud of our roots. And
local
on
boys.
Another more podcast related note. If you guys have anything you want to talk about today or anything you want to hear, just want to say what's up.
But before we get into that, I actually, Beck, I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought you were trying to like shit at your brother. I thought you were gonna be like, like last year. Congratulations to Owen Beck last year.
I mean, like if you want to like
wrap it up,
and you want to
wrap it up.
Anyways, just playing the job of the host here because But yeah, so why don't we get into basketball?
Yeah, really.
Yeah, for sure.
Kawhi Leonard had one of the best games of the playoffs in Game 7. He absolutely torched Luka Doncic in the second half, and
I just want to say
carried that team.
I just want to say I was right.
As Clem likes to point out a lot,
every single
you probably
time.
noticed every single like every single time he's right about anything, he'll point it out, as you probably have noticed. But Kawhi Leonard had an insane game. I think that's the best single game effort of the playoffs so far, in my opinion.
No question.
Certainly
he's
all around.
Other than maybe
100%.
Buck.
I'm not talking offensively, like both ends of the court. Like he locked Luka. Like that whole second half, he was on Luka and locked him completely.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
he was
Which is
one
what they
assist
needed
shy
to win.
of a triple double. But I mean, like, look, in the second half, like Luka still finished with 46, 7, and 14.
Oh, I
which is
know. Like
unbelievable.
Luka has no help, man. Like if Game 7 showed us anything, is he has
Absolutely
no help.
none.
Zero
Absolutely
No.
none. Which is
But,
unfortunate,
yeah.
man. If he had another player, like a number 2 to him,
help. If Seth Curry was still
they'd be
there,
nasty.
Porzingis was supposed to be that dang guy.
non-existent.
Yeah, he was supposed to be, but
non-existent.
yeah,
Hardaway
where is
had
he
a
right
pretty
now?
Hardaway Jr. had a decent series, but like that's not going to be enough to.
He's not good enough to be a number 2.
Yeah.
Luka averaged like 40
you're right
points
about
through the
that.
whole series. Like that's insane. Like
That's-
he like single-handedly carried them pretty much.
Not to say it's not helpful, but it really shouldn't be necessary on a legitimate.
Really?
contender, if you know
It
what I mean.
shouldn't. Like if you're actually trying to go deep and like win a championship, that's not going to do it. Like regular season,
Yeah.
sure, but that's not going to do it. Especially what are you
Like-
going to do if that guy gets hurt? Like you're probably
Yeah.
not even going to make the playoffs.
Like, how gassed must that guy be? Like,
For
imagine
real.
him. They get through that round, and then the formula is Luka. What's gonna happen? Luka's gonna get hurt. Like,
For real,
I'm sorry.
I think they need a new few players. I honestly think they need a new coach.
Really?
I'm not a fan. I'm really not a fan. I don't think Cuban is either, to be honest.
What? Rick
Yeah, I don't
Carlisle?
think so either.
Yeah, I
to
don't
be
think he is. I
Oh,
think
it's-
I think that these playoffs have shown him that he relies on Luka too much, and if they can't get the right players, like he's not going to get fired tomorrow or anything. But in the next couple
No.
years, if like they can't put players around him that he can coach around, he's going to like get fired, and they're going to bring in someone else.
What game?
Yeah.
What game was it where they zoomed in on Mark Cuban's face at the end of it?
Like all of them that they lost.
Probably
'Cause-
all of them in Dallas. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But-
No, I don't
Could've
think
been-
he's too happy with that. to be
Could have
honest.
been in LA too, because I'm sure he was there.
That's another crazy thing
Yeah.
about that series. Is there was only one time that the home team won the game, and that was Game 7. Like
yeah.
at like the first 6
No.
games, only the away team won. That's
It's
kind
got to
of
be one of the first time that's happened
I've never seen that, or at least I
Yeah.
can't remember a time where I've seen that.
in any
It's
sport,
not-
really.
And both those teams obviously had fans in the building too, so it's not like there wasn't a home court.
Oh, no,
advantage or
totally.
anything like that, right?
100%.
So, is there? I mean, obviously Dallas probably has more questions than LA right now, but also I think LA has further expectations. But is there anything? Is it still alarming for the Clippers that this went 7 games, or is it kind of?
I think it's a wake up call.
Yeah,
Oh,
honestly, I
certainly.
think that they turned it on in game 6 and 7, and Kawhi played really well, and I think that like lit a fire
Yeah.
when Luka was just going off and hitting shots from everywhere. I think that I haven't seen the Clippers play like this since they've got together, so it's actually kind of interesting to see. I'm gonna watch the game tonight. I'm gonna
Yeah.
see what happens.
I think anything too, like their defense. I mean, their defense has been not great, but in the wins, you could just kind of tell they were more engaged.
Totally,
You know what I mean?
they were
there's
on
that-
like
they know what they are, right?
they
Like,
have a switch, and I think that they choose not to switch it more often
Yeah.
than they should.
and I think you see that when we see like times where Kawhi wasn't on Luka the whole time. Where it was
Yeah,
the
like,
second half. of
I
the seventh
honestly barely saw Kawhi on Luka outside of the fourth quarter in basically every game except Game 7.
game. Well, because I think we talked about it a couple weeks ago when Dallas went up 2-0, right? And we were like, "Oh shit!" Like, you know, maybe this isn't a fluke or something. And we saw like Zubac was guarding him on switches, like almost a third of the time. PG was on him, which is fine, but like Pat Bev, like we saw a litany of guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think some of that came down to obviously like basketball, like, you know, you brush screen, you switch. But then I think some of that too was more of like that playoff mentality. Like if you're locked in the playoffs and your guy is Luka, you're doing everything you can to fight through that screen to get to Luka.
And a big thing that the Clippers did in Game 7, they literally didn't let him go in the paint. Like they completely crushed him in the paint every time he went down. And I think that was a huge part of them because he would go down and he would get so many and ones and so many like fouls drawn against him. I think that they did a really good job of managing him in the paint. And I think that was a huge difference maker too.
Yeah, the Jordan rules.
For real.
The freaking Jordan rules. But I think the other thing too, like we saw that, like, yeah, they locked in on Luka a little bit, but it was also a thing. The Clippers realized this, and I think a lot of teams are realizing this, and we see it now in the way teams are built, is that if a team like Dallas has one guy, it's like, okay, well, we know Luka's absolutely ridiculous and can do just about whatever he wants with the basketball, and it's probably going to really hurt us. But if we can take our chances with the
Damage
other players on their
control.
team. Yeah, but or say, okay, we're gonna try and stop Luka as much as we can, and we're
And
gonna
honestly,
let everyone
if-
else try and beat us.
If the Mavs don't play the Clippers or the Clippers don't have Kawhi Leonard, that series goes a lot differently, in my opinion. Like he was the turning point. Like as Bob McKenzie would say, the TSN turning point. It was definitely Kawhi in that series, man. He was the game
Without a
changer.
question. Without a
No,
question.
yeah, absolutely. But that's almost every series he's in.
Yeah. Realistically.
As much as Kawhi, you know what you're gonna get from Kawhi. Like you're gonna get like almost 30 points, 10 rebounds. You're gonna get assists in there too.
And you're gonna get your best player locked 95% of the time.
Yeah. Well, but that's the thing is like I think when Kawhi, because we know Kawhi has like that injury history, and I'm sure there's that management there because it's the first round. But you know where you're at when Kawhi is locking in on defense, getting in the stance, and trying to fucking hound you down, right? Like I don't think we saw that for maybe 5 games.
When Kawhi
Especially
plays well,
in the
he's the
first
best
2 games.
two-way player in the game.
Exactly. That's what it like
Oh,
going
No,
back to
you didn't.
going back to what I said earlier, it's a switch. They have a switch and they just don't turn it on as
Yeah.
much as they need to sometimes.
Yeah.
And maybe that is a load management thing. I wouldn't like to think that because
No.
that's terrible and I would hope
Could
better
be
for the
that.
NBA, but like
But
could
we
be.
know what like kind of coach a Tyronn Lue is.
Oh,
Tyronn
shit.
Lue isn't
For all
Tyronn
you Philadelphia Flyers fans or Philadelphia 76ers fans, it's 57-55 for Philly right now. Atlanta has the ball.
Yeah. So as what we know Tyronn Lue for being as a coach is more of a manager and more of a guy who manages players and egos rather than coaches. So I think that's kind of the thing too, is that the Clippers know they have enough talent for sure. They just need someone to tell them when to turn it on, say, or really
Totally.
just light the fire.
And I don't think Ty Lue is that guy, to be honest.
I mean, Ty Lue has been that guy though, which is why I think they hired him. Like they saw what he did in Cleveland, which I think makes sense.
Yeah,
And
but that was also
he
LeBron
gets-
James. Like
He gets a lot of he still gets a lot of respect.
But I mean, you
for-
still have Kawhi.
I
Kawhi-
don't think he's a bad coach. I just think that he is a player manager, but I don't think that Kawhi and PG are the type of players that can be managed by a guy like Tyler.
But
the guy
it's not
named
even-
Ty Lue.
A guy.
It's-
Sorry, I've had
Tyler.
one too many of the
But-
PBRs.
The
Couple PBRs
The thing-
tonight, eh, bud?
Oh yeah,
the thing about Ty Lue is it's not so much managing; it's managing 2 guys in Kawhi and PG who are like head and shoulders above everyone else on the roster, and still getting these guys to buy in. Because we heard about it, like we heard when like friggin' Harold Montrez blew the whistle and Lou Will blew the whistle. It was like these guys are getting special treatment. Well, like honestly, like damn
Kind of
right
how
they
it
should.
is.
yeah.
that's
Yeah,
kinda
dude.
what-
Like,
That's kind of what happens, right? So like, dude, you can be a 6 man. That's great. You can, you're a valuable role player to your team, but this guy has carried teams to championships, has been a defensive player of the year, and like a consistent MVP candidate. So
He's earned that respect.
absolutely he has.
he's
Maybe-
also earned that treatment though too. Like
But
if you
And
think
And
about it,
and
like,
I don't think it's special treatment. I think it's just a
I
level
don't
of
either.
respect. I think it's
Yeah.
just a level of
Yeah.
respect that you know what you need to do to play the way you're going to play. I'm going to help you a little bit and try to manage it. I'm going to call the plays and help the younger players, but mainly
But
you're
like-
going to do what you're going to do. And like they're supposed to they even work together in a way, to be honest, like the head coach and like a superstar
Yeah.
like that, like they work
Yeah.
together. in a way. And
Well,
if there's
because
not that and if they don't have that good chemistry, it's not going to work. You know what I mean?
Well, typically your superstar is your general on the court, right? Like he's the guy running the show, right? That's
Exactly.
where the ball goes. That's where the game goes through, right? So it makes sense. And I think even we've seen it in Philly. Like Doc Rivers hasn't had any problems with Joel Embiid or anything like that. And a lot of the blame went at Doc Rivers last year, right? So maybe it was just Ty Lue.
It's just personalities.
Yeah.
No,
so
if I am a
maybe
fan
Ty
of
Lue was just-
Embiid, I am kind of hating that he's out every game, but that's one of those things that
He just hit a big
that's load
shot.
management, right? Like it's one of those treatment things, right?
Yeah, and I'm sure I bet you load management was a part of it. But the thing about it is that look, some guys just maybe a guy like Tyronn Lue, who's been there more recently in the league than Doc Rivers, just knows how to connect with these guys better and say, hey, what can I do to get the most out of you? Or just even be real with some of these guys.
Clem, I don't care because we have a lot of Philly fans watching. Seth Curry is 5 for 5 from behind the 3-point line with 17 points and 5 rebounds right now.
No.
He's playing lights out.
Wow.
5 for 5 from behind the 3-point line.
That was like MPJ. What game was that, Clem, that we watched? MPJ was lights out.
Game 6 against the
Was
Nuggets.
it 6? Yeah, I think so. Against the Suns, was it not?
Portland.
No, against
Portland.
Yeah, it was
what
against
am I saying?
Portland.
So
Against Portland.
all right.
He was lights out, dude. It was crazy. It was
Okay,
crazy. He had
so-
like 12 points in the first quarter. Sorry, back.
No, go ahead. But you bring me to a good point, Justin, because it just kind of made me think of the question is when we talk about guys getting hot in the playoffs, who in your opinion, for the teams that are still there now, biggest X factors?
Kawhi Leonard's definitely one for sure.
No. We're not talking like guys who
No,
know
not
we're
like
gonna get
big
from
guys,
Kawhi.
right? Yeah.
No,
wait. I'm sorry.
Steph Curry.
Oh,
X
I see.
factor.
Sorry,
X factor.
I
That's a tough
misunderstood
one.
the question.
That's a tough one to say though, because
Yeah,
Because
For me,
you're
like,
gonna get
I
from
honestly-
Embiid, right?
I would say Seth Curry.
yeah.
I've been on the
I-
Seth Curry hype train all season. He's
For
gross.
me,
He had a really good season. He did have
Yeah.
a really good season.
If we're
He
talking
fit
like,
Philadelphia really well.
I don't know what team to talk about specifically. I'd say I think Ben Simmons is a known commodity, but I'd be curious if I'm talking about the Sixers, like Tobias Harris.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Tobias Harris.
Like he's the second go-to scorer in that lineup.
I wouldn't
because
say
we
he's
know-
I wouldn't say he's a real known commodity, but I would
Embiid is
also
unfair.
yeah,
Embiid
no,
is
he's
just unfair.
kind of a cheat code, eh?
He
kind of
fucking
a cheat
is,
code.
man. Like I haven't watched a whole lot of Sixer ball this year, but he is a fucking cheat code, man.
Dude,
Like, I've never seen a big man play like that.
Tobias Harris though,
What do you
back to
mean?
that.
That's just
I
fucking-
like Tobias Harris though, and I've never disliked him. I thought that he had a slow mid season. But I don't
Yeah.
think that the roof is shallow, you know what I mean? Like his ceiling's really high. So
I love Tobias. He's good.
to say that he has the potential of an underrated player to go in, I would just say that he has the potential to go in. You know what I mean?
I think he has
Yeah.
the potential to go in. I think he's kind of reached his ceiling. I don't think he's going to become like a more
Yeah.
impactful player over the years.
But I think he's considered one of the best. Like he's one of the best players at his position right now. Like he's top 5. Like he's been consistent for so long. Like he's been
That's
at
small
that.
forward? Oh god.
No, he plays power forward, doesn't he?
Still,
either
he's
or
not-
doesn't
he's not
matter.
top 5 in the position. But
Maybe
he's
not,
one
but
of
like he's been
he's
so
one of-
consistent. Like and he's
he's
been a
an upper
consistent
echelon-
fucking yeah.
upper echelon player for his position,
That
right?
that third
But-
option in Philly is the exact same thing as Drew Holiday in Milwaukee. So I couldn't really say that I'm gonna say that Drew Holiday is gonna go in because he's had a bit of a slow season a little bit. He's had a couple good games, had a couple bad games, but you know what I mean. Like he's gonna be there in certain games. Same with Tobias Harris.
But the X factor part of it is whether they're going to be there. Like if Tobias Harris is there for the Sixers, then the Sixers are going to go much further, right? Like if Tobias Harris is making his shots,
it's like
playing
that's like
decent
any
defense.
player, though,
That,
right?
that's what I'm saying.
If
though.
Giannis
But,
isn't there,
that's
the
why-
Bucks are going to get swept this series.
Okay, but
that's what I'm saying. But so you
Yeah,
have to
but,
you have to
when
kind
you
of
say
pick different
Kawhi,
players,
you're
man.
No, absolutely. But my point is it's not just about third options. Like for the Bucks, I think it's PJ Tucker. Like
Yeah.
if PJ Tucker can hit his corner threes and play good defense, that's huge. If PJ Tucker's missing his shots, then how can he be out there? Like, and if,
No,
especially if
exactly.
he's going to get
No,
cooked,
exactly.
you know what I mean?
That's
He's
what I'm
such an
saying.
underrated defender.
So maybe like Lou Will on the Sixers.
On
You know what I mean?
Atlanta.
If Lou,
Atlanta.
who did he get traded for? Who am I thinking
Lou
of?
Will, Rajon
Rondo?
Rondo is playing for the
Rondo.
Clippers.
Okay, so he plays on the Clippers. My bad. Okay, I don't know where I was going with that.
Okay, but like, I think because like obviously it makes sense for superstars. Yeah, if the superstars are there, then obviously they're gonna impact their team
Yeah.
most with winning. But like, what are some of those things? Like PJ Tucker brings great, like, excellent defense at his best and respectable shooting, right? Like that's huge for the Bucks because it's going to open up the floor and it's going to allow them to throw a body at like a guy like Kevin Durant and cause problems. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I guess if I were to give you another example, I think I think Aaron Gordon for the Nuggets would be a big one.
Yeah.
Like
No, he's been playing well.
like without Jamal Murray, like Aaron Gordon's probably Aaron Gordon is their top one-on-one defender. So it's a matter of whether he can score at a reasonable rate, right? Like as that sort of third guy
Yeah.
in order to, elevate the Nuggets with their loss of Jamal Murray, because usually that's not his responsibility, right?
Dude, the Nuggets would be lethal if Jamal was still playing.
Yeah.
I still
They
think they
would,
get kicked out of this round.
Well,
Really?
against who are they playing? They're playing the Suns. You think the
Yeah.
Suns?
You think they would
I
lose?
still
you
think the
the
Suns win.
would- with Jamal Murray?
Yeah.
No, not
I'm
all.
sorry. I think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't
the
think you're
Nuggets
giving.
would
I don't think you're giving
be-
Jamal Murray enough credit.
I love Jamal.
Honestly,
Jamal's one of my favorite players, but I just
I
don't.
think the Nuggets for me would have been my team.
If
to
they're
come to the West
fully
if
hel-
Jamal been healthy.
if they were fully healthy, like if they had
Okay,
Barton still, but like
Yeah.
just Jamal coming back, I don't think they're making it out of the West.
I mean, like Facundo Campazzo was like good enough to fill that role as a point guard and slide Jamal to shooting guard. Like I think Jamal was the big one because we know playoff Jamal.
I know he's a big one, but the other guys are an
Okay.
impact too.
Oh, for sure. I just mean Jamal's definitely like has a bigger impact on that team. That's all. I don't know.
Well, no
I think-
shit.
Yeah.
I wasn't questioning that. I would be an idiot to do that. But my point was that there's other parts of that team that are missing. They're beat up.
Yeah, no, for sure. The Nuggets have always been like well stocked though. Like they've always had guys that have been able to step in when they need to. Like they've had Campazzo, they've had Morris this year. Like they're not shy on depth. Like they have JaVale McGee, Paul Millsap. They're pretty well stocked. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
But
no,
if
totally.
they,
but
and if they had Jamal, I think they'd be making a title run this year.
I don't think
yeah.
a title run. I think maybe pushing to get into the conference final.
I would like
Even-
them in a conference, to be honest. If they had Jamal,
No.
I would really like them in a
So-
conference. You know what I mean?
But I don't know if they
So-
beat the Suns still.
It's tough. It's tough, man. Honestly.
If they have their entire
it's
depth,
tough.
maybe. But that's what I'm saying is Jamal I know Jamal's a big impact player, but I don't know if he's that big of an impact player.
I just
mean-
really like the way he worked with Joker too, though.
Yeah, that's the
Joker's
I mean?
been
They're
horrible in
picking-
playoffs.
Yeah, but if
He's been
Jamal,
all right
if,
this year,
if Jamal's there,
Oh,
it could be a different,
historically,
completely
yeah,
different
like-
story.
yeah, historically.
historically
Could be a
the
completely
Nuggets are
different story.
struggling, Joker's struggling. But that's why like Jamal was so huge for them is because Jamal was that bucket, right? Like Jokic didn't have to think about fucking scoring all the time because he could just pick and pop.
Jamal was
with
the
Jokic
finish.
Well, and Jamal had that kind of gravity in the playoffs where he'd attract other defenders to him and make life easier for guys around him. Right? And now you see Jokic have to carry that responsibility as a scorer. Like
No,
he averaged
exactly.
like it was probably a career high for a series for him in the playoffs.
Yeah,
And,
for
like,
sure.
And that was against a team with like Yusuf Nurkic, who couldn't stop fouling. And Enes Kanter has been historically bad defensively.
He's been really bad.
Yeah. And the other thing too is like if Jokic were, and it's a big if, but if Jokic is playing so well, like we know he was having an MVP season before Jamal went out, and still continued to have an MVP season. If you're putting that Jokic up against, because clearly from what we've seen different Jokic in the playoffs. You put that guy up against DeAndre Ayton, and Jamal Murray is going up against Chris Paul, and then you have like, I don't know, even if you want to say, yeah, sure, Barton, MPJ, and Aaron Gordon. Like, that is a 1 through 5. That's a unit that can do damage on both ends. You know what I mean? And they're just long. They're skilled. They can shoot.
Yeah.
So
Beck, I agree with you, man. I agree with you, honestly.
I think 1 through 5, like I think 1 through 5. I think I would have to take the Nuggets over the Suns if we're talking all things hypothetical.
Statistically, like okay, so
Like all
hypothetically,
healthy, I totally agree.
I agree with that too. All healthy, yes. It's
Right
just
now,
tough, man,
like-
because the Suns, they're underrated, man. You can't shut the Suns out, man. Like you can't.
No.
You know what I
Well,
mean?
Devin Booker's
And
playing like, well, I mean,
He's
I can't
playing
say playoff
insanely good.
MVP, but
literally,
he's playing the best basketball of his career, and it's not.
He's
even
playing
close. He's in
insane.
the playoffs.
no, no, Beck, you're right.
And
But
you know, Jamal Murray, one thing, like not exactly a defensive guy, but they don't have the kind of production out of the backcourt that the Suns do. Like, frankly, the Nuggets are going to get
Chris
Nuggets
Paul
are gonna
went
get
off
killed
last
in the
night.
backcourt. Yeah,
Yeah, he did. This is
Yeah.
probably Chris Paul's best opportunity to win a ring.
unless we see him
Realistically,
go
yeah.
and friggin' unless we see him go join another team.
the Nats.
Like, oh god,
What about Chris Paul to the
Uh,
Heat?
Chris Paul? The Heat?
I don't know if
wouldn't
that makes
mind
them a
that.
contender. I don't know if that makes them a
Like,
contender.
I could see,
But
them
it
being
made the
interested,
Suns a
like,
contender.
Yeah,
true.
but like
but he
I say
could
the
be,
Suns are
like,
deeper than the Heat, honestly.
I don't think so.
I wouldn't say
That
so.
the Suns
I'd
are
say,
still in
like,
the playoffs right now, and the Heat aren't. for a
I'd say they're
reason.
about even
That's
though.
very true.
I'd say they're about even.
Yeah, one of them has Chris Paul.
Right? I'd say they're about even.
I'd say Aiton's a lot better than Adebayo.
No.
I
no,
would.
Adebayo's better than Ayton.
Adebayo did nothing in that
Adebayo's better
series.
at it.
In
Yeah,
that
well,
series,
Adeb-
but overall,
you-
the player,
you
I'm
have-
taking Adebayo
you have-
all day.
You have
Yeah,
guys like
Adebayo
Mikal
sucks.
Bridges,
I like Bridges too. I don't know.
right?
I
I
I
like
like him, but
solid.
I would take Mikal Bridges over Duncan Robinson
I think honestly,
or
I think
Tyler
they're
Hero.
I think they're two similar
yeah,
teams.
would you
Like,
take him
Chris-
over both of them?
I think they're both pretty much the same teams, honestly.
Like,
You
well,
A CP3 on each
Yeah.
team, and
They're pretty similar.
I don't know what happens.
Hey.
Honestly.
and
The
Chris
Heat
are
Paul
actually
has shown, like, the
built a lot-
ability- Go ahead.
Clem
The
just
Heat are
loves to
also
suck
built
the
a
Heat
lot.
dick.
I'm a fan of the Heat. I'm not gonna lie, but
Yeah,
what I was saying is the Suns are kind of built like the Heat were last year.
I mean, considering the team 6-man is Jay Crowder and my
Yeah.
6-man last year was Jay Crowder, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, no.
fair enough.
Maybe
I mean,
some,
it's
like,
hard to argue with that
copycat
logic.
stuff on there. Yeah, kind of
It's tough to
Very-
argue with that
very
logic.
obvious similarities, but yeah. But
So like
we've
if
seen-
you think hypothetically, if CP3 goes to the Heat, they make the same run as the Suns.
depends on, we don't know what the Suns have done just yet, but I think at this age, like, Chris Paul isn't the kind of guy they need. Like, they need a guy who's not going to fall
They need a
flat in his
point
face
guard.
in the playoffs. Well, they need that, or they need another two-way.
Why do you
game.
say
Like,
Why
you
do you
never
say
have
Chris
too many
Paul's
of those.
gonna fall flat in the playoffs?
Yeah.
No, I said they need a guy who's not going to fall flat on his face in the playoffs, like Jimmy. And I'm not saying.
Oh, but
I
that
think
was
Chris-
one series. Everybody hates them guys
Okay.
that fuck up one series.
Sure, like, yeah, and honestly, it took Miami.
You
a
could say
lot
the same
to,
thing
like,
for LeBron.
LeBron's been hated on his entire career.
The point
Yeah.
is I don't think if Jimmy's gonna have another one of those series, like, Chris Paul isn't gonna be the guy to pick him up. Like, he just doesn't have the kind of scoring output. Then again, Chris Paul also makes things easier for his teammates, so maybe life's easier for Jimmy. Like, you don't
For
know.
Jimmy,
but
right? And
That's
Bam.
why I think a guy who could be more of a go-to scorer on offense when things like slow down in the playoffs would be really helpful for a guy like Jimmy, because then he's not having to go up against teams' top wing defender or something like that.
Definitely see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I
If
get what
it-
you're saying.
If they had someone to go to that wasn't as flawed offensively, then it would make lives easier for those guys who do have offensive flaws. Like Bam obviously can't shoot. Jimmy has never been a great shooter.
And he's small. Bam's small too.
Yeah, that too. So
For
Yeah,
the
you have-
position, for the position he plays, Bam is really small.
Yeah.
if you have a guy that is a star that has the tools to be that sort of go-to scorer and someone that can elevate the other guys simply by making life easier for them, then I think that would be huge. I just don't think I don't know about CP3. I just don't think CP3 brings the kind of scoring that Miami's offense would need.
I kind of agree with that. I would like to see someone a little bit better than CP3 on
Because
that team.
CP's a facilitator, and he works really well when he can facilitate and then put the points down that he needs to. And I think that
Yeah.
Miami would need him to be way more offensive than I think he's capable of right now.
Well, just scoring, right? Like
That's what I mean,
take
offensively.
more of a role scoring. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think we know Kawhi's future is pretty set, but like that would be cool to see. Like a Jimmy Kawhi tandem would be absolute havoc.
That would be crazy. That would actually
would
be
be
crazy.
crazy.
They
yeah.
would probably win championships.
Yeah.
If
But
If
we said the
Dame-
same. We said the same thing about Kawhi and PG. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting for sure, though.
I think
Definitely be interesting.
I don't know. I guess if Dame's name really is on the mill or like on the block, then I think Miami's got to be the first team to call, and it's got to be the team willing to offer the most. There's no other way around that.
No, I think you're right.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, where does Dame want to go realistically, other than stay in Portland, than what the team wants to get the most?
Like
of,
what?
Right?
Yeah, that's a good question. Like, what team can say trade for Dame and also offer the opportunity to be a legitimate contender? Right? Like the list is pretty short.
Exactly. Without give up some, but don't give up too much.
Well,
Right.
yeah, exactly. Like you can sell the farm, but don't sell the friggin' championship hopes away with it, right?
Yeah.
So, what do you guys think? What teams do you think could really realistically make that move? If because I'm sure what do you guys think about Dame? Do you think is he actually going anywhere, or is this just?
I don't think
don't
he's
think
going
so.
anywhere for now. I think if he's going to go somewhere, it'll be in the next couple of years. But I don't think he's going anywhere for right now.
Yeah.
I think everyone's just on the hype train of that he carried them and they got beat out, which has been the story of the
Pretty much every single year.
Trailblazers for a long time. So like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that everyone's just on that hype train right now, and it'll die off, and he'll be there for at least another 2 or 3 years before he moves, if he does end up moving at all.
He could just be getting sick of it at this point too, right? Because that's
You never
always the
know.
story.
But I don't think it'd be interesting to see what they could get for him and where he would go.
Two major moves this year: Aaron Rodgers and Dame Lillard.
Yeah, you just.
Aaron Rodgers is going to Miami.
Maybe they both go to Miami.
That'd be funny.
Yeah.
I actually would love to see
Miami now.
Aaron Rodgers in Miami. I'm not gonna lie.
They would be
But
gross.
if
They would be
they
really
went to
gross.
Miami. I think that's a championship team. right there.
I would want Dame to
Honestly,
go to I would want Dame to go to the Nuggets. I think Dame
I
would be
would-
dope on the
Oh
Nuggets.
my God.
I don't
I
think
want
you
Dame.
need them.
Of course you would, or the Knicks. I'd like to see him on
Oh,
the
dude,
Knicks.
he's literally just a
He'd be
better
dope
Jamal
on the
Murray.
Nuggets.
Yeah,
literally-
he's just a
exactly.
better
So that-
Jamal Murray.
That makes
Now-
the team infinitely better.
I think they'd have to give up Porter Jr. for a guy like Dame because like Jamal's just not enough with what they have, like young player wise and pick wise. I'm sure that they'd probably want MPJ in there. Which
Yeah,
I'm
I
sure
agree.
probably
If I was
stop
them,
the
I would want
Nuggets.
MPJ and
Yeah.
Murray.
But like, if they could find a way, I think the Nuggets would be like, well, they'd be my team at coming out of the West.
Yeah, I agree.
No question.
I would
No
agree.
question. And they'd easily be the best team to give the Nuggets, like the Nets, a run for their money.
Totally
yeah,
agree.
exactly.
Well, if they have like a top, I almost want to say like top 3 point guard in the league, and they have the reigning NBA MVP. Like, if there's any group that's gonna go up against what the Nets have, that would be them, right?
Yeah.
But I would also like to see Portland though too after they get in that trade,
Me too.
right? If you get Jamal and MPJ for
Oh,
Dame,
yeah.
obviously there's obviously some sweeteners in there. But if that's a trade, what is Portland looking like as well?
They could
Well,
be
they're looking
gross.
deep.
Could
They're
be
looking
really
deeper,
gross, right?
Right? Yeah.
They'd be way
MPJ
deeper.
Like MPJ
And for downgrading-
fills that void.
Downgrading your point guard like Dame for Jamal, I'm not gonna hate that.
Yeah, but that
Not
makes
gonna hate
Portland
that.
infinitely worse, though. Like Jamal's a good player, don't get me wrong, but that
Yeah,
like the reason
His
that
ceiling is not that low.
no, it's
No, it's
not.
not.
But he's not the same player as.
But what
Dame.
about-
No,
and
of
it's
course
not,
not.
and
But
it's
if you're
not
getting-
close, and it's
No,
not.
no. But if you're getting some other things in there that, like, if you got MPJ,
Like, what about
and
MPJ?
Jamal,
If they ended up if they could keep, but like if you put them on Portland, do you really think that makes them any better than what they are right now?
I don't know. But
no, but I think it makes the team as a whole way better.
They would, yeah, like it would make them interesting to watch, but I don't think it would make them any better or worse than they are right now. To be honest with you,
they'd be really young and they'd have a
They'd-
lot of moves.
they'd be
available to them.
they'd be a first round, maybe second round if they're lucky team, just like they've been for the last like 5 years, 6
Yeah.
years.
I think
Yeah, but
I
they'd
think
have the
really,
pieces
though-
to go get someone else and maybe do a different experiment.
yeah. that's
I
true.
mean, yeah, but it's a lot of ifs, right? Like you never really know. It's all hypothetical. But I don't think
Yeah.
right now in the present, if that trade
so-
were to happen, I don't think that would.
I
make
don't think
Portland
you're
any
getting.
better.
I don't think you'd ever get Dame for just Jamal and MPJ.
They'd have to be
Oh
picks and
no,
stuff
like
involved.
it probably be
Probably
picks at
two
that point,
firsts.
though, like
There'd have to be
Yeah.
maybe like a first and a second or something.
depends. But
If you're giving up Jamal, well, actually, yeah, I don't know.
Dame's a
That'd be
very,
interesting.
very high
I also
player.
don't know what picks the Nuggets even have disposal
Yeah.
right now. To be honest,
the other thing is about that is like there's a real possibility that in say 2 or 3 years, like obviously in hindsight things change, but there's a real possibility where Jamal and MPJ develop in a new setting with increased responsibility.
That's what I'm saying.
yeah, it could be right.
That
And, like-
makes the ceiling incredibly higher than what it is right now.
Yeah.
Well, do you guys want to talk about some of the series that are going on right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down.
I want to talk about Philly and Atlanta, to be honest, because that's been the most
Okay.
entertaining series for me since in the second round so far. Because the Bucks are getting absolutely destroyed. They're getting shit pumped. Like
Oh yeah.
first game was by 7, but like Clem mentioned before we were starting that a lot of that was garbage time, and then game
Yeah.
2 was just fucking
Oh,
what was it,
right off.
30 something? I don't even fucking know.
37. I think.
Jesus fucking Christ.
It was a write off after the first.
There's been a
quarter.
lot of like 30-point playoff blowouts this year.
Yeah.
There's been a lot, like a lot more than normal. But I don't know.
think, though,
I think that
it's a
Atlanta,
squish.
I honestly think that the problem that Philly lost in the game 1 because they didn't get the matchups they needed. To be honest, I think that that game came to coaching. I think that they didn't put their matchup. They didn't put the right players on. Trey and Gallinari went off, and Gallinari's going off right now. And I think that Clint
Yeah.
got a lot of looks because Joel was spending a lot of time outside the paint. And I think they just didn't get the looks they were looking for. And even right now, like Atlanta's keeping it close. Like it's interesting to see Atlanta do this well when everyone thought they weren't even going to beat the Knicks.
Poops,
Kinda
I,
like-
Yeah.
I will agree with you. I will agree with you on that.
The Hawks are growing on me. Honestly, the Hawks are growing on me
A little bit, yeah.
The Hawks are growing on
The
me a
Hawks-
little bit.
The Hawks are probably the deepest team in the NBA. Not the most talented, but just the deepest team with the most guys that can really contribute.
Trey Young
think that's
continues
the
to impress me. He continues to impress
yeah.
me every night.
Trey Young is growing on a lot of people. The other thing too is Simmons aside, like the Atlanta's not a bad team matchup wise with the Sixers. Like I know Ben's a non-factor, so Capella is probably one of the better defensive centers in the league, and one of those guys who can go with Embiid. Not to say can stop him, but at least do something. And I think Collins can take Harris.
I don't know if
Yeah.
Collins stays after this year though.
I think he
Depends on
does,
where they
honestly.
finish. Depends on where they finish.
They're not beating the
Yeah.
Sixers, though. I'm sorry.
I don't think so either. But
No, I don't think so. But
I
You
didn't
never
think
know,
so
right?
until I've watched like
Last
like-
night or the
No,
last
the-
game was a feeling out process.
dude, the third is almost over and Philly is up by 3 right now.
yeah.
Like
Look,
they're
this series
keeping
is
it close.
already. Yeah, this series is already infinitely more competitive than I think a lot of people
me
thought
too.
it was.
That
Yeah.
exactly. That you described it perfectly. It's a lot more competitive than I thought it was going to be.
And I think
Gallinari has been disgusting.
But if you look at their roster, right, like John Collins, they're pretty much capped out with all the contracts they have. So unless they're making
Yeah.
a trade, John Collins is probably their best avenue for internal development. Like I know Trae Young could and probably will still get better.
Definitely.
I think John Collins has probably got the most room for growth. But they also have like Reddish and Hunter, but he's another one like
Cam
he's
Reddish
kind
is
of that
underrated. He's underrated.
yeah, he is.
well, I think
Yeah.
they both are. I think DeAndre Hunter and Cam Reddish are underrated.
I love Cam
100%.
Reddish. He's
By
fun.
no-
He's dope.
By no means does Cam Reddish justify the Doncic trade.
No, definitely not. But like
there were more things to it than just basketball, but like that trade will never basketball wise.
dude, can you imagine if the Sacramento Kings took Luka instead of Marvin Bagley?
that would be incredible.
That's the worst thing.
Why?
That is the worst thing that at number 2, Sacramento simply takes Bagley, and here
Oh,
we
I thought you
are.
meant-
That's
you meant-
hindsight, though.
No. In hindsight, I get it. Like the Kings had De'Aaron Fox in the backcourt,
And
you know,
Marvin
they didn't
Bagley's not a
really
bad
need-
player whatsoever. Like Marvin Bagley's good.
He's-
He's not
yeah.
Luka Doncic.
but like he's in that. He's right there in the thick of like a draft class that is turning out to be one of the all-time greats.
Yeah, and he's not as good as a lot of the people
Yeah.
that are in there.
But in hindsight, that always happens.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. We don't see like the best players come from the first and second spot.
I don't know,
all the
man.
time,
The Luka De'Aaron Fox backcourt sounds really
Oh.
gross to me.
Oh,
Yeah,
I would watch.
be
Just
broken.
disgusting.
I would watch every Sacramento Kings game.
like honestly,
I would
Sacramento's
love
playoff drought
that.
would have been over like 2 years, like whenever Luka got drafted. Like it would have been over like 4 years ago.
They would have been. Oh my god, they would have been disgusting.
Yeah. Oh my!
Fuck.
I think-
I hate Lou Will. He pisses me off. I just don't like him.
I don't mind him.
Why?
You don't
I don't
like
know.
him?
Like
Why
I
not?
respect him. Anyone who's a professional
Yeah, I
athlete,
respect him too.
I respect him, especially because he's won awards. He's a skilled player.
Yeah.
He just
He's
I
been
don't
through a lot, dude.
his not I don't like him. I don't know. He's just like he always looks like he's yapping. He reminds me of like a little dog. Like he always looks like he's fucking like
Like a
going and
chihuahua.
yeah,
He
literally
looks-
exactly.
Yeah.
And his shot
He-
is so fucking weird. Like his jump shot, it is fucking weird.
I think
It's
he's a
almost
good
like-
scorer, though.
It's like Lonzo Ball light.
Totally.
Lou Will
No,
shot.
totally.
Yeah. I think Lou Will also like Lou Will kind of
He
looks
brings
like
it across his body and
Chihuahua
then
or-
fucking it's weird.
Well, he looks like that like 6-year-old boy or something like at the park who's just complaining.
No,
or
he
something.
just-
I don't know.
He just like he's not a bad player. He just pisses me off.
Yeah. Honestly.
Wow, fellas, go off on that. Wow,
Hey, you want to talk about your
just like a
favorite-
little dog,
your fa-
Chihuahua. So
you
what
want
you
to talk about your favorite player? Friggin' Brooke Lopez.
Brook Lopez.
Oh my god.
Gum, give me gum.
Okay, I'm not even gonna say anything. I'm not even gonna say anything. Just the way that guy looks pisses me off. So I'm not gonna say anything. That's it. Clem actually just said exactly what I was gonna say. So I'm not gonna say anything after that.
Which of the Lopez brothers is more ugly to you, friggin' Brooke or Rob?
Rob.
Dude, it's tough. It's
gotta
tough,
be
honestly.
Rob, man.
But Rob, yeah, no, you're
That
right. Rob
hair?
is like,
He's also
yeah,
just a
dude.
psycho.
At least Brooke doesn't have any fucking hair. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, he's just at least
Rob's
he's not
just
making
got that
it look bad.
disgusting.
Rob just
flow,
looks like
man.
a dog that hasn't been had his
Bro.
head shaved.
Leave it to Beck to ask who's uglier between two twin brothers. Just wanted to point that out.
Luke with the line of the pod. I walked right into that one.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Thank
I
you,
thought
Thank you, Luke.
I thought about that, and then I just was like, maybe they're not twins.
No, they're twins.
They're twins for sure.
Wow.
Kind of glad that he stepped in when he did and like steered that away. That was getting into a totally different.
Yeah, no, it was getting into a
realm.
completely different. Yeah.
Totally different.
Beck's
realm of
question
No.
was basically,
No.
I did that for two reasons. One, because the conversation you guys were having was going in a really fucked direction, and
Yeah.
two,
Oh, yeah.
the minute I heard Beck go, "Who's uglier between the Lopez twins?" I was like, wait a second, but that's not how it works.
Well, if
All
you
right,
look at
Luke.
if you look at
are they
complete
identical twins though?
features,
I don't think they are.
No.
I have no fucking idea. I just wanted to make the
Maybe.
It's just funny because they're twins, but I don't
Exactly.
think they are.
All right, Luke. Bring it back to basketball, man. What do you got?
He's eating right now, you fucking idiot.
Oh my god! I should look at the camera for once.
Look at the camera, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, shut up.
Does anyone think that the Bucks are gonna come back from this Nets pummeling their receiving?
No.
no,
Do you
No
think
shot.
they're gonna?
Nets
I
in
think,
four.
no
I think
shot.
really, you think they're gonna sweep?
A sweep. Yeah, I'm taking a sweep on that.
Really, you don't think they'll take one game?
If they take
not
one,
even
they'll be
game at
lucky.
home.
I think they'll take at least a game.
Honestly, you know what though? It wouldn't surprise me if it like doesn't go over 5. Like I know it doesn't look good, but like look, you're going home, you're going back to your fans. Like you should expect a boost from the Bucks. But the problem with me is like, I mean, obviously it's the Brooklyn Nets. How are you going to stop that offense? But it's not like Mike Budenholzer's really done anything to change how they go about it. You know what I mean? And
Go
Yeah.
about what? Like what do you mean go about what? Like go about how they're playing?
So look, Mike Budenholzer's gotten a lot of flack for not making coaching adjustments and
Okay,
just
yeah.
believing in it, believing in his system
squad.
and not-
Yeah.
yeah, and not changing anything, right? Like not changing personnel or schemes or anything like that.
hmm Yeah.
So what really sort of frustrates me is in that kind of that game one where teams were feeling each other out, and like Milwaukee, like obviously wasn't it really in that. Like garbage time, made it look a lot different than it actually
Yeah.
was.
I also think
But-
people underrate the time off that the Bucks had. Like they
Yeah,
almost
but
had a week
they-
without a game.
They've lost that advantage now.
No, it's not an advantage.
Yeah.
It can be a disadvantage if you have.
It can
weeks
be,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it can be an advantage. It can be a disadvantage, though.
That's what I mean. Like I'm saying, it
other
could be a
thing-
disadvantage. It could be why they're losing. They're just their legs
The other
aren't
thing
fresh.
is the other thing too, though, is like Brooklyn only played 5 games, so they had some time.
Fair
off, too.
enough. No, fair enough. I guess.
So like as Brent was saying about like that feeling out process in game one, like Brooklyn kind of got like they both got the chance to like feel each other out, see what they do, that sort of thing.
It was pretty
And-
even for a while.
Through which one? Game one?
Yeah.
Yeah, like game one was a lot closer, but like what I think obviously some things changed. Like Milwaukee wasn't making the same kind of shots, but I think Brooklyn certainly changed their game more than like Brooklyn. You saw Brooklyn move the ball more. You saw them get switches. Like Joe Harris got more touches, opened things up a little more. Like Brooklyn like changed stuff in order to benefit their chances of winning. And I don't think Milwaukee did the same. And that's where like Mike Budenholzer gets
They
a little
100% didn't. And honestly, he should get the flack for that because they didn't.
flack. And not only
You know
that
what I mean?
too, like even on defense where Brooklyn doesn't get as much credit, they just said like fuck you, Giannis. Like try
They're
your
shutting him
best.
down.
They
they're literally
did,
shutting him
dude.
down.
But
And they're
But
not just
how are
shutting
they
him down; they're shutting the whole team down, dude.
It's
but
shocking.
How are
Like,
they?
They're-
How are they shutting him down? They're Ben Simmonsing the hell out of this guy.
Oh, 100%.
Like,
That's the only reason, the only way that they can stop him.
Oh,
Well,
who
exactly.
was it?
From
Who-
game one to game two, that changed, and Brooklyn's defense just snapped because
Literally.
guys like Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton were seeing one or an extra defender, right?
Beck
Always.
was it
But
not?
there was
was
so
it
many
not-
double teams.
Yeah,
Beck, was it not Claxton who was letting Giannis shoot from 3? He just,
It was
he just
every-
let him.
It was all of them.
Oh,
Everyone. It was everyone. Why wouldn't you?
they were
Blake
just
Griffin was doing
giving him the 3 line, dude. They were just giving
Yeah.
it to him.
And the
Let him
worst thing
shoot
is
that.
too.
Let him shoot
Oh yeah.
that.
And the worst thing is too is when you obviously see he doesn't want to shoot and he's dribbling around the top of the friggin' key trying to hand it off instead of screen. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah.
He has no
He
confidence.
missed. No,
Dude,
he
they were
went-
just eliminating them.
Oh yeah. So Giannis went like 1 for 5 in game 1, and then went 0 for 3 in like the first. I want to say the first quarter actually, because like they were just disrespecting him even more, and he stopped shooting. And like I get that he's a terrible shooter, but like you've completely taken away the space in their offense because.
But he's not that bad of a shooter. He should be hitting a couple.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Oh.
say he's that bad of a shooter, but he wasn't hitting shots when they were playing.
Yeah.
Like he just wasn't.
I think there's also that playoff factor too, where I think that's in his mind.
I don't
too,
think he's
every
a clutch
shot counts
shooter.
more. Oh,
I don't
he's
think he
never
ever
been
will
a
be.
clutch shooter to begin with. I don't think he's a clutch shooter. I think a lot of it just comes down to the fact that he's a bad shooter, and people expose that more in the playoffs because they're telling him to shoot because they don't respect him. Like it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, but it's also like some guys just have that gene where in the playoffs they pick it up a notch. I don't think he does.
Oh yeah. I think
he picks it up
Joker.
in other. I think he picks it up in other aspects of his game, but I don't think shooting
He
is
hasn't,
one of
though.
his aspects. I mean,
I don't think his scoring was bad. His scoring wasn't bad in round 1. Like,
wasn't
he averaged-
horrible.
No, like he averaged over like 30 points. This series,
But he has to.
Has been
For them to
horrible.
win, he has to.
He
Oh,
really has to.
absolutely. Because like, look, if you can, we saw it with Ben Simmons last year. If you can take one guy out of an offense, it's 4-on-5. Like the numbers don't add up, right? Obviously, Philly has worked their way around that, but that also
Yeah, they
came
found a
with-
solution.
That also came with like 2 excellent 3-point shooters and a ridiculous, well, 3 actually, and a ridiculous MVP caliber season from Joel Embiid, right? Like the Bucks don't have the same kind of solution there. Like Brook Lopez is just going to go out and play like the Brook Lopez of 2014 that was tearing up Toronto Raptors teams.
I think I remember you telling me that the Bucks had an absolutely disgusting team and they'd be fine.
I thought the same thing, man, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I did not. They
But
are a
they've been-
huge bust, dude. They
they've
get
been
shut
down.
down by pretty much everyone.
Look,
They
Fuck.
swept Miami. Like
No. Okay.
yeah.
they literally
Obviously-
swept Miami.
Obviously not. That was an over exaggeration. Yes, but you know
They're
what I
just
mean.
playing
Like,
the best team in the NBA.
Yeah.
they just
That's
don't
it.
do
Like-
as well as
like,
against
you put
teams
them-
that they could
put them
compete
ag-
against. They
Brooklyn,
just
I mean,
don't do. They don't do
Brooklyn's-
as well against teams that
The
they can compete
Celtics
with.
looked better against them, though. So far,
It has only been 2
2 games.
I know.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah,
I know.
yeah,
I know.
you're
But
right.
I'm just
But
saying.
after 3 games, it could be 3-0.
Oh my god, Philadelphia is so
It could be
disgusting.
3-0, man. And then the next game's
Yeah,
a sweep.
you're right.
Like you know what I mean?
I think
What do they do from here?
I think we're gonna find out whether Mike Budenholzer keeps his job or not.
No, I agree because he needs to make some adjustments.
Yeah, I
Big
agree
time.
with that as well.
And I think the other thing too is like, look, Milwaukee. We know Milwaukee's offense can be congested if Giannis can't shoot the ball, but I think really like they need to go say fuck it. If Giannis isn't going to shoot, we're not going to let him. We're not going to put him out there, right?
Yeah,
you
why is
gotta
he
go
on the
Giannis to
perimeter?
5. You got to go Giannis to the 5, especially against this Nets team. Like,
Yeah, you'd almost rather have Lopez on the 4.
I wouldn't hate seeing that
Well,
either.
I think honestly, like obviously
Portis?
not having Dante DiVincenzo there sucks, but look, you throw up Bryn Forbes who shot over 40%
Yeah.
of the 3, and you say, look, we've got 4 shooters to space it out, and we got Giannis. Like Brook Lopez hasn't even shot the ball all that well this year. He's been shooting way less.
DiVincenzo out definitely hurts him.
Yeah,
Definitely hurts him, especially for shooting.
but I think really there's got to be some radical change because obviously Brooklyn's just, both teams live on the 3, and Brooklyn just has the talent to do it way better, and that's exactly what's happening. So obviously Milwaukee needs to go in a different direction, right?
Yeah, they need to do something different.
And that's the thing that like Budenholzer hasn't done in the past. So that's why I think this is going to be the game where he either.
That's why we have to
No.
see. We have to wait out and see if he's actually going to do something different, or if he's just going to say,
Yeah.
"Screw it, we're going to go back to our old
Yeah.
systems," which they
Like, hey,
clearly haven't been
we're in
working.
Yeah, like hey,
They
If
have-
they lose next game, they're fucked.
Yeah,
Obviously, it's 3-0. Obviously, they're
Like,
fucked,
they-
but,
they-
I think they're
like,
fucked
they're-
already, but
well, we said everyone said the Raptors were fucked when they went down 2-0 with 2 games in Milwaukee. And,
it's also true.
I feel like
you know, they flipped the
I
switch,
feel like-
right?
yeah, but I feel like the factor there is that it was against Milwaukee.
I
I feel like the factor was Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, but Milwaukee's not a playoff team. I don't think.
Well, they've made the playoffs and
No,
swept someone
like-
in the first
no,
round.
like,
he
they're
means-
not
he means
good.
They're not a
They-
good playoff team.
They're
not a
not
contender.
good.
They're not a contender.
No.
I
I
thought
mean, they
they were
don't
gonna
play
be-
well in the playoffs.
It's
You-
too soon in the series to tell, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's been 2 games, and they swept the first round. You literally didn't even think Miami was gonna lose a game. You thought Miami was gonna win in 5.
I don't think I said
I think-
Miami in 5, but
I think Luke's right too. I think look, they were playing a team that was really having some problems in Miami and didn't really have to elevate.
And they're
the game.
playing the best team in the NBA this
Yeah.
this series. Like I
It's-
think people forget
it's,
about that.
It's a 180. They
Like,
gotta, like, they
they're
gotta
playing
figure it
against
out.
Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, James Harden, but fucking
Mhm.
Blake Griffin that
I'm-
somehow looks like he's
Dude.
alive again. Like
I'm not going
They're
to
not-
complain.
can we talk about how Blake Griffin just played the entire league?
Yeah, I don't know, dude.
he literally did
I
what
don't
James
know.
Harden did, just way more
Yeah.
low key.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
just wasn't as big of a
Yeah.
deal.
He was just way
I mean-
more low key.
I
I mean, that first year with the
I mean,
Pistons, he
Blake-
was good.
He carried them to the
Blake
playoffs.
got
Yeah.
Blake got hated on a lot though, being in Detroit.
The
He got a lot
the,
of hate.
the pillows we saw under James Harden's shirt in Houston were the ice bags on Blake Griffin's knees.
No,
we
for
saw
real
in
though.
Detroit.
For real though.
Yeah.
That was brutal, man.
Who did Blake dunk on the other day? Was it Giannis?
He
Yeah, it
he
was
dunked on
Giannis.
Was it Giannis?
Yeah,
That's-
Remember when we were
That's
watching
showing
game one?
signs of like.
Remember when we were watching game 1 and we said, "Oh, he's gonna ruin Giannis's career if he dunks on him."
It wasn't like Giannis wasn't like
Uh,
right up defending him though. Like he was like he turned at the
wasn't?
he turned at the last second and like put his arm up, but Blake was already in the
okay.
air. Like it was
Yeah.
like Giannis was facing like the fucking
It
this
still
way, and he
happened,
was
though, I
coming
think
from
is the
this
point.
way, and then at the last second Giannis turned and went like this, but Blake was already in the air. Like there was nothing
Yeah,
he could do.
yeah.
It was still
No,
like a
I know, it
poster
still
dunk, but there was
happened.
just. But it's not like he was like Giannis was sitting at the bottom of the
He
rim.
was going
like,
up for the
waiting
block
for
and
him.
shit. Yeah,
Yeah, it's not like Giannis had the 2-step to like
No,
actually
yeah, of
go
course.
up
And then
contest
Blake
it.
stepped over him though.
Oh, did he?
Blake. No way, Blake
stepped
Blake
over him.
stepped-
I watched the highlight. I don't remember him stepping over him.
No, that must
Go
have been
look-
a different sequence.
He
No, maybe
stepped
not.
over him.
Maybe not in the same play, but
gonna look
he
at it.
stepped over
No,
him in
it-
that
it-
game.
I don't. Yeah, definitely feel like I remember that, but like the play where Giannis was the late closeout, like Giannis was
No,
on
no,
the
no,
other
no,
side
no.
of the rim, basically.
Pook, send that to me. I really want to see it.
Yeah,
I showed you guys while we were at Beck's the other day.
not sure.
That was
really
that was
remember.
that play?
No, it wasn't the same play. I don't
Oh
think.
no, dude, that was from
Blake
like, game
Griffin
one.
stepped
That
over
was,
the
like, a
kids.
loose ball.
Blake Griffin stepped over Giannis, not Giannis. He stepped over his brother.
Are you sure? Are you sure that
I'm
kid's
watching
playing at all?
I'm watching the YouTube video right now. Blake Griffin steps over Giannis Antetokounmpo. Yeah, that's not Giannis.
Okay, my bad. I mean,
That's
it's still.
Thanasis, or
I,
Thanasis, or
you can
however you say it.
understand the confusion there.
Yeah.
Totally, but that's it. No, it wasn't Giannis.
The guy was laying on the ground with the last name
Yeah,
Okumpo,
and like he went out of his way to
Okompo.
step over him too. Like he took 3 steps and then stepped over him.
Fucking a couple.
But yeah, no, that wasn't Giannis.
Wow.
no, that's my bad. I just saw the highlight and
No, you're good. I was just confused. I was like, damn, I figured I would have saw that on Insta. I feel like that would have been a bigger deal.
Yeah, me too. That's what I was
I
thinking.
feel like if
but then
Blake
I,
Griffin stepped over Giannis, I feel like that would have been a lot bigger of a deal.
I felt like I remembered Clem showing me the video though too. That's why I was really confused.
You guys are probably just hammered and saw Antetokounmpo.
Yeah, that's
go,
what
oh, that's
what-
Giannis.
That's what I'm thinking too, though. That's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking, too.
It's more than likely.
It's more than acceptable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm not complaining. I don't.
Dude, have you
who
guys
else
ever
is
tried
complaining?
Modelo beer? Is it good?
It's okay.
I don't think
It's
I've tried it. I
It's
don't
only
think I've tried
It's
it.
only American, right? Or do we have it here?
I think you could get it here if you really wanted to.
Because
You
I keep
won't-
seeing
you won't
ads
get
for it
it.
whenever I watch basketball, and it looks like pretty fucking good. Like it looks
It's
like
like
fancy
it's
PvP.
it's like Corona.
It looks like Stella. Like
I
it
always
looks like
thought it was
Stella.
like you know that stuff, the Japanese stuff,
Oh,
Soprano or whatever.
yeah,
No,
Sapporo.
Sapporo. Yeah. That's what I thought it was always like.
Sopranos, the TV show.
Yeah, Sopranos is definitely the TV show.
Utah.
What about
Cl-
Utah
go
the
ahead.
Clippers tonight?
Uh,
Yeah.
That's supposed
yeah,
to
that
start in a
game,
minute.
game one goes tonight, but I was wondering more about the series.
Who do you think's gonna
Like,
win?
Uh,
That's gonna be an interesting one. I don't know.
like, do the Clippers have the switch flip now, or is
Yes.
it like?
I think
okay,
we're about to see.
We're about to find
I
out.
th-
They're-
yeah,
they're-
I
they're
think so
about
with the
to find out.
momentum.
because they're away
They're
too.
gonna
So the
play.
Clippers have got to
Yeah.
come out with a fire under them for sure.
Whoever wins this game wins the series. I think.
Really, it's
Yeah.
it's a bold
Really.
statement.
Yeah, that is very bold.
Very bold
Uh,
statement, but I do not hate that. I don't hate that because we'll see. Clippers are coming off of a hot streak, right? So
Uh,
if they win, I think they might carry. I think they might carry out the series.
Look,
That's just
they're
me,
going
personally.
against.
I got Clippers in 6 personally.
I'll
They're-
take 6 too.
I think.
Yeah.
I honestly think I think the Jazz are going to come out like ready to play, and
I don't know.
ready
I don't
to
know who's
prove
gonna win,
themselves.
but it's
I
gonna
don't
go to game 7.
I don't necessarily think the Jazz know who they're going up against though.
I don't know who's
Uh,
gonna win, but it's gonna go to game 7. I think.
Besides that, though, like especially, I remember when we were talking about this with like the on the one of the last videos, like how the Jazz don't get the same kind of attention or fanfare or
Yeah.
whatever. And I think the players are just gonna be like, look, like we've been underrated all season because they have, and really try and come out with a point to prove against the Clippers tonight.
See,
I
I
agree.
think
I think both of these teams have something to prove tonight. I think.
yeah.
See,
And
I,
I think
agree
both
with that,
teams-
but I don't think the Jazz know who they're coming up against though. Is what I'm saying.
I mean, you Google NBA and it says Clippers versus
Okay,
Jazz.
no,
right?
That's
Yeah,
not
but
what I'm saying,
if
though. But
Kawhi
with
is
the
playing
momentum
like
of
he was
Kawhi,
for the
man,
Raptors,
if Kawhi's playing like he's playing against the Mavs,
Kawhi's going to be
I
a big
don't-
factor.
he's gonna be huge, man.
I don't think
He's
he's,
gonna
the
be
biggest
huge.
factor though. I think the biggest factor of the series is going to be Donovan and PG.
Really? You don't think Kawhi's going to be the biggest figure of this
I think
series?
he'll do more than PG and Donovan, but I think that the final of the series will come down to how PG and Donovan play.
I mean,
If
Well,
one of them
yeah.
plays, they've shown when PG plays like shit, they play
Yeah.
bad. Kawhi
But-
can play well and PG play like shit, and they don't do well.
yeah, Donovan's going to be the guy they go to though. Like we know Rudy's a non-factor and Conley's not exactly a scorer, so Donovan's going to be the guy they go to no matter what. So
Yeah.
really,
He's their number one
really-
option offensively.
yeah. So like PG has a little bit more to fall back on, at least in the offensive end.
No,
So I
yeah,
don't
of
know, maybe-
course.
I don't know. I'm just saying maybe it's Kawhi against Mitchell, right? Because Kawhi's going to guard.
Yeah, but Kawhi's
number
gonna
one
do what
option
he-
versus number one option.
But Kawhi's gonna do what
Yeah.
he does. Is my point. If
Yeah,
PG
that
can
makes
light it
sense.
up, he's gonna be a huge
Yeah.
factor in that
So-
series because
So I
they
think
need
that
them both to perform. Kawhi will perform. We just
The
don't know if
Jazz-
PG will.
The Jazz are also a larger.
We also
product
don't
of
know
their
when, though.
collective. Like the Jazz get more support from more players on the roster than the Clippers do. Like the Clippers lean more heavily on PG and Kawhi. So I think depending on, I just think it's going to come down to whether the rest of the Jazz players can support Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, well, they have a deep bench. They had two players.
about Rudy?
They had 2 6-man of the year candidates. So it's going to be. I think that this is going to be one of the best series we see, and I think it's gonna come down to the bench and Kawhi. I think.
Yeah,
But what
I
are your
think
thoughts
you're-
on Rudy back as number 2 for the Jazz?
Like I think, frankly, like Rudy doesn't have an offensive arsenal of his own. He's more of a rim runner, But I think, like size wise, like I mean, who's gonna stop him from crashing the boards? You know what I mean? Who's gonna who's gonna challenge them inside, that sort of shit.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But yeah, no.
What else do you have?
I think the only one we haven't talked about is the. Actually, no. I think that's all of them. I think we've talked about all of them.
Did we? Yeah, we kind of did touch.
All right.
on
Well,
that.
let's do final predictions. Final predictions for every series. Clem.
for every
go.
series.
Mm,
We'll start with
Clips in 6,
Clippers in 6.
Suns in 6, Nets in 5. What I can't even. I'm blanking here.
Sixers
Oh,
and Atlanta.
Hawks, Sixers in 6.
Back.
That Clippers Utah series is so tough, but I think I go Utah. I go Utah in 7, and then I'll go Phoenix in 6. I got Philly in 6, and I got I hate it because I know I've put faith in Milwaukee, so I don't want to, but it's 2-0, so I'd like to see it go to 6, but I think the way things look now, like I'd be surprised even if they went 5. So I'm gonna say Brooklyn in 5.
Justin.
I have Brooklyn sweep 4-0. I have Suns. I'm gonna take Suns to 7. Suns in 7.
I like that.
I like Clippers in 6. I think with the momentum, I think they'll take it in 6, and then Sixers in 6 as well, because I think Atlanta will put up a bit of a fight, but I think at the end of the day, Sixers will have it.
Fair. I think the Sixers are going to win, but I think it's going to take them 7 games. I think that Atlanta's going to make a big push, and I think it's going to take them 7. I don't know who's going to win the Clippers and the Jazz, but I'm going to say the Clippers in 7. I think either way, whoever wins, it's going to go 7 in my opinion. The Nuggets and the Suns, I'm going to take the Nuggets in 7 only because I like the Nuggets and none of you took the Nuggets, so I think they still have a chance, but we'll see more after game 2. And then honestly, I'm going to side with Justin. I think the Nets are going to sweep. I think if the Nets win game 3, they sweep. If they lose game 3, they win 4 and 5.
Yeah.
That's my.
Yeah.
I like the sweep.
So
I don't want to count Giannis out for one win.
It's
I don't either, but I like Brooklyn too much. So.
Obviously, like going up 3-0, it comes down to the next series. But even more important to that is like if we're gonna get a series, they have to win both at home. Like there's no question.
No, I agree with you.
Like because there's enough momentum for Brooklyn to say, look, like they were in their own building. We weren't our best. We're gonna come back game 4 and like figure this out, and that's a real possibility. But yeah, I think for there to really be a series here in the latter half,
they have to win both.
They have to win both. Yeah.
There's just not another option. Like you can't expect to go. You can't expect to win one and then win the next.
No, you're right. There is no option there.
No, you're 100%.
Even if they win in Brooklyn, or even if they win both at home, they still have to win at least one game in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm. But they're going to be much better, much more. Well, obviously, it's much more likely if they just have to win 1 than 2, right?
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They still got to win those 2 to even give them a chance. So
I say that if Milwaukee doesn't win the next 2 at home, it's series over.
That's why I didn't want to count out Giannis, right? Because he's just such.
They could bounce back.
Not just
being down 2-0 isn't a death sentence. Being down 2-0 is not a death sentence.
Clips
I don't want to count Giannis and the Bucks out because I do like the Bucks team. I just think the way that the Nets are playing against them, I think it's series over. I just do. I don't know why. I think it's series over.
If Milwaukee can win the next 2 games at home, I think we have a series. But I think if Brooklyn takes game 3, they sweep. If Milwaukee takes game 3, then Brooklyn takes 4 and 5. I think Milwaukee has to win both at home to stay relevant in the series.
To even have a chance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like especially if Brooklyn gets one, like on the road, they're gonna be much more confident going home and saying, "Look, we just got just one." You know what I mean?
Exactly.
We get 3 chances to get one. Whereas if they're heading back to Milwaukee, like Milwaukee's heading back home right now with a lot of doubt. And
Yeah,
Brooklyn
with a
will be
lot
doing
of-
the same.
It
Their
depends how
backs
they
are on the wall.
respond.
What's the
Their backs
news?
are against the wall.
What's the news
Yeah.
on Harden?
I don't know.
Didn't
Actually.
he left?
I
He left with a
actually-
hamstring.
So
in-
it
I
was-
don't, I
in
don't,
game
I don't,
two?
I don't think there's been any updates since he's went out, but he didn't play game 2,
No.
so I don't want to assume he's playing game
okay, so-
3.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's another thing. I
So-
can't believe they're
so
losing by
that
that
might-
much without James Harden too. Like that's
So-
crazy that they're still getting blown out without James Harden on the court.
That just shows you how good.
That's another factor, right? That's another factor.
That-
They're
that's
missing
huge
one of their
factor.
big. They're missing one of their big 3,
Yeah,
right? And they're still doing that much damage. Well, I don't know. If he comes back in game 3, I think pack it up. I think
We'll
the Bucks
see.
pack it up.
Brooklyn's also a tough place to play. They have good fans,
Another thing-
so
Yeah.
The other thing
we'll
too
see when
is,
they go
like,
back to Milwaukee.
Other thing too is like Brooklyn played with Kyrie and KD. Like that was the 2 stars they played with for the most amount of time this season. So that's
Yeah.
the most familiar.
No, it was
right?
it was Harden and Kyrie most of the season.
Oh, was it?
KD was out longer than Harden.
I remember
Way
KD not being
longer.
in for a fucking minute.
Even
Harden
though
missed, like,
didn't
the-
get traded
Yeah,
until
fucked me in
partway through the
fantasy.
season.
Yeah, Harden played more games this season than KD did
Oh, okay.
For the Nets or in general though.
for the Nets.
Yeah, for the Nets. That's my cue.
We boring you, Beck?
No, I'm just friggin'. I'm getting. I don't know. I'm responsible now. I have to go.
He's
to bed
getting
every
up
night.
there. He's getting up there, man.
He's got to go stand
Well,
on a bridge and take Instagram
he's-
stories.
He's
Yeah.
like what, 56 years old now?
Who's that?
56. You back?
Oh yeah.
You gotta go to bed at, like, 10.
My hearing's going now too.
9:30, 10. It's 10 minutes past his bedtime already. So
Oh, I know, boys. I know. Jeez, look at me, eh? Really? Call
yeah.
Me, yeah.
Anything else we have to cover?
I don't think so. I don't think there's anything crazy going on that we need to cover before
No.
Friday.
I
So
don't
we
think so
kinda-
either.
Yeah, with everything going on right now, we're just kind of bouncing between the NBA right now in the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't there didn't some big coach retire in the NCAA this week?
So yeah,
Coach K
speaking of-
retired, didn't he?
Coach K announced that he's going to retire after this season.
Oh, he's gonna
After
do
the
this
coming
season.
season.
He's gonna do this season,
Yeah.
and that's gonna be his last one.
Yeah, so,
That's good. I like when when coaches or players do that when they
Oh.
announce it the year before,
It's
so
a
you know.
victory lap.
Yeah, literally. So you know it's gonna be
Well,
their last one.
If anyone's going to do it, Coach K is. He's probably one of the greatest coaches of all time.
I mean,
He
Dirk
deserves it.
Dirk did it. Kobe did it.
Yeah,
Did Vince do it? I don't remember if
Vince
Vince
did
or not.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, he
Oh
did.
well. Yeah, I think
Kind
Vince kind of did it.
Sort
I
of.
think
He
everyone
implied
kinda
it.
knew. Kind of knew, yeah.
He signed a 1-year deal, and everyone kind of knew.
The guy,
He
the guy
implied
was
it.
42 years old. It was.
Yeah.
It was down.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think we'll get into more of that next Tuesday. So
Next
yeah.
Tuesday, you mean Friday?
No, Tuesday is technically supposed to be the NCAA.
No, we're not doing NCAA anymore.
What? Oh, okay.
We're doing it. So when the NCAA season starts, I explained this last week. When the NCAA season starts,
Yeah.
that's when we're going to start a separate show, not connected to the 3-pointer, with its own name, with its own anchor, with its own Spotify.
okay.
Oh,
So
we're
it
not-
won't.
we're
So
not
it won't.
NCAA
It
anymore,
won't.
right?
It won't be us.
No, it will be
Yeah.
us.
Oh, it will be.
Yeah, it'll still be us.
Oh, okay, bet.
Oh, but we can't link it to the 3-pointer, right?
No.
No, we're just going to do it separately. We might as well.
Okay. All right.
Makes
Well,
sense.
we'll
Makes
figure it
sense.
out. We'll figure. I'm sure we'll have
Yeah.
more details for you
So we
guys
have two
when
different
when that time comes.
That's news
Yeah,
to
exactly.
me and my 60-year-old dementia, eh, Justin?
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't help you there, Beck. I'm losing
I
myself. there,
definitely
too,
did
so.
explain that.
No, I definitely remember him talking about something like that, but I also remember being Gonzo and just don't remember
Donzo.
the
That's,
rest of that
that's news to
conversation.
me.
So
Being down Schitt's Creek without a paddle.
exactly,
But yeah,
exactly.
speaking of Gonzo, that sounds like maybe the cue to get Gonzo on this episode. And shout out the
Beck
shout out
really
network
wants to
and-
go to bed.
he's
I'm
tired.
not gonna
eh?
lie to you. I am tired. I'm getting tired.
Manual labor will do that.
Didn't really want to mention that right.
Is
at
it
the beginning of the
manual
podcast.
labor or was he standing around?
Standing on a bridge,
I
posting Instagram
also-
stories
I
and
also
flipping the
remember-
sign.
I remember
I
him
saw it
posting
on-
two- two
I saw it on
Snapchat
him
stories
and
today,
Dawson's
so-
Snapchat stories. Both of them were just standing on a bridge.
Yeah, dude. I don't know how much work was getting done there by those
No.
two.
It's
It's
I
tough
don't
to
really
say.
know, man.
It's tough to
No.
say.
No, I'm sure the count.
Beck's got a guilty grin on his face.
Look at him. He's like, yeah, man. I get paid $20 an hour. Just stand there. Didn't he say he didn't have his working at heights, so he couldn't really do anything? Something like that.
I was just running. Yeah, I was just cutting shit in the ground. And
Oh, okay, yeah.
But yeah, I
Ooh,
could.
that's not
I
bad.
could go up. But yeah, I was running the ground. But yeah.
Yeah, okay. I guess I'll give it to you, Beck. That's some manual
Yeah.
labor. That's difficult. So
Yeah. So,
Gallinari had 21 points, 9 rebounds tonight.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, so in saying that, make sure you go check out Old City Sports. Lots of great content over there. You can find them online at oldcitysports.com or on the Facebook or group page, old spelled OLDE, citysports.com. They got lots of great podcasts and live shows just like us, hosted by guys like us, some of them even hosted by us. Flyers Alley, Backstabbing Wrestling, The 3-Pointer, The Complex 4for4, and more. Go check them out. And yeah, cheers, guys.
Cheers.
have a good one.
Cheers.